everybody loves his tenacity and his passion. His youth is his undoing, as well as the thing that makes us love him. And it was a poor pass. It was horrible. It was just as bad as anything we've seen in the last 2 years from anybody in terms of a backward pass. The Kirikesh, cross at Southampton last year, and Lallana finished against Larissa. It was terrible. But Davis, why is he trying to body Pella, off the ball rather than just clear the thing out and give them a corner? That was the thing that just dumbfounded me. They both played really poor, and I don't want to say Davis getting hurt was a little bit of a blessing, because it wasn't. No one wants to see any of our players get hurt. But I think that blame for that goal is equally shared. They both made just horrific critical errors in an area of the pitch where you simply cannot.
Well, yeah, I suppose I have to agree with that. It was Idiot Olympics. It really was. It was a comedy of errors, and that's putting it kindly. But clearly, if Mason does his job, it was sort of two unthinkables, but I felt that Mason's unthinkable was really more unthinkable. In that situation, you don't F about. You clear that ball. And I think it was a combination slippery pitch, big guy pressuring Davies, element of surprise, like, oh my God, I gotta do something here, and he just completely brain farted. So yeah, neither of them get gold medals, but I don't think that Davies' blunder ever even becomes a blunder if Mason just does what he needs to do. But it's probably worth discussing that pitch, which gave everybody fits.
There were about 5 slips. You had Schneidlin go down, and he was the only Southampton player I saw go down. He extended his knee.
Well, he may very well have. He may very well have.
Cross him off the wish list.
Well, hang on. Hey, by the way, what a player he is. I thought he was the best player on the field.
He was.
He was brilliant.
He's so good.
He's so good. Oh, man. What's he worth? Well, in your mind, what's he worth? Maybe that's a
if we
segue
want
for a
him, it's an
discussion.
overinflated price. You know that.
What is somebody's going to get him, right?
25.
Yeah, that's probably right.
I think it's going to be 25 million.
Well, maybe we revisit this later. But anyway, I thought he was brilliant. He was fantastic. Does it all right. Tackles, and he took that free kick, that gorgeous free kick. That could have led to a goal. Boy, he's a beast.
Yeah.
Oh.
He knows how to find the back of the net from the defensive midfield.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
impressive.
well, that volley that he had, he almost had a goal as well, which was a slick piece of skill, right? Was it off a corner, wasn't it? It was a great corner by Ward-Prowse, too. Oh, I like him as well. Anyway, sorry.
So, as I was saying, I think there were 4 slips by Spurs players, including, obviously, the injury to Davis, which was very unfortunate. And I don't think it was reported as a dislocated shoulder, because I think the reports came back that he seemed to be a lot better than initially feared, but I haven't seen a final verdict on that. So,
I haven't either.
But that puts us, again, in a huge dilemma, because we ended up playing with 4 centre-backs and no full-backs whatsoever, and we basically, if he is out, we don't have any fit full-backs other than Yedlin, correct?
Correct.
Because what is going on with that?
Walker's done for the year.
Walker's done for the year. They said he'll be out for the next 4 weeks. I'm like, well, that takes you to the last game of the season.
Yeah.
For the record, somebody on Hotspur America made a comment about that injury when it happened, being a little bit more severe than people had expected. For once, I was right. Unfortunately, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a break or what is it? Is it a really bad bruise?
They haven't confirmed it is, but I got to think it's that, or it's a very deep bruise to the foot. Because he was kicked on the foot, right?
Got it. Yeah. By the way, without playing, he had a crazy week. Did you hear all that crap?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So we won't add fuel to that fire.
No.
I know he came out categorically.
He did. Yeah, he did. I'm glad.
And I threw a tweet out there too that, you know what, if you're going to have Dyer out, playing outside, and Kirikesh possibly playing outside, or whoever the options are, you're going to need cover on the inside. And maybe he's been captaining the U21s. Maybe Cameron Carter-Vickers gets a look at the top top squad.
Well, but here's the deal: we know Yang can play as left back. He was played there quite a bit under AVB. Yep. He had to throw his toys out of the pram because he said he didn't like playing there, but he does it for Belgium. and so he can play left back for us if he needs to. But the way Fazio's playing, I'm not even sure if I want him in the middle. I certainly don't want Kabul in the middle. No. I think he's probably played his last game for the club. But it's it could be very interesting when we discuss City later in the podcast. But one thing I want to go back to on the goal that we were just discussing is you got to look at how it started. I think Southampton were on the counter-attack with Mane running at Vertonghen, and Vertonghen was never going to keep up. So that was the problem. He cuts inside, and then I believe Fazio did make a tackle. The ball fell loose, but it went straight to a Southampton player. That's when it came back in. Mason had it slip, and obviously the goal ensued. So we did a pretty poor job of defending the play from A to Z in that regard, and it's another one of those goals that we beleaguer the point week in, week out, that we should be better at defending those kind of things. If you're going to have a nice cross in from the right up for their second goal, and the defender gets beaten, let's say it was Vertonghen, we probably wouldn't be slagging him off like Fazio. That was a quality goal. The minute he rose and put his forehead on that, you knew that was going in. That was a great goal.
Yeah, it was.
I think we're all kind of tired of these defensive errors creating the goals. If someone's out of position, all right, that's going to happen. Not every goal can be scored by pure unadulterated. Yeah, that's it. Fluidity, which is a real word, by the way.
Which, by the way, it is a word because
Yes.
they said it. They
did.
on commentary, and I thought of you.
fell off my chair.
I laughed so hard when I heard it. He said fluidity. I about pissed myself.
Yeah, so a lot of mistakes typically create goals because not every team is going to be that skillful that that's how the goal starts from beginning to end. But I think we'd all agree, if we can just cut out the defensive errors, how many goals or defensive errors that have led to goals would we have not conceded that warrant points? I'd be interested to see if someone would do that analysis and figure that out and give us points back. Because let's face it, Southampton, I must admit, particularly in the first half, their defending was world class.
And that's what they're known for, though.
Right.
I was surprised we got 2 goals.
The fact we scored 2 goals.
They've got some good defenders back there, don't they?
They do, and I think I made the comment on Saturday on Twitter that they are not stacked with world-class internationals. They've got.
No, they're really not.
No, but they have a lot of very underrated players. I mean, they've got Nathaniel Pine. They've got now. You guys have to correct me because I honestly don't know how to pronounce his name. Is it Ander Vervelde?
Alderweireld.
Alderweireld, yeah.
And he's very good.
Which we're after him.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I wouldn't mind it at all. I think that is there just taking a quick step back, Simon, and speaking to our defensive woes, it doesn't surprise me that we get beaten by speed. I mean, if you look at Dyer, look at Fazio, look at Vertonghen, I mean, those are 3 pretty big defenders, right? And when you have Rose in there, I suppose it's a bit of some balance there, and it does help against speedy guys.
And Walker. Walker's got pace.
Let me ask this, though. When you have Terry and Cahill and Ivanovic, they're no fleeter of foot than what we have.
Ivanovic is an incredibly mobile guy for a big dude, and then as Poltiqueta, he's very good. And but I look, it didn't surprise me that Mane was kind of abusing us with his speed, right? Which he did, but losing balls in the air like we've done 2 weeks in a row is just inexcusable.
Let me ask this too, because I don't see it a whole lot with other teams, at least other really good teams. It seems like when we're trying to clear balls out, 18-yard box, or maybe a little bit in, and we're off on the edges a little bit, everything seems to go right back into the middle of the pitch. Why? It creates more havoc for the center backs who are trying to reposition themselves, and the fullbacks even who are possibly trying to figure out who they're supposed to be marking during the run of play. And you'll get someone like, and I hate picking on him, but you get someone like Mason who's got a perfect opportunity to either head the ball out to toward the sideline or upfield. And everything seems to go right back into the mixer, right back into the middle of the pitch, creating all sorts of havoc and problems. I see it a lot.
I'd like to have an old school, proper, English defender as a like I'd love to have Joe Jordan back working with this group of guys, right? I mean, think about it. Fazio, right, captain of Sevilla, Europa League winner, and comes here and generally is
pony.
Well, no, I wouldn't say he's pony. I mean, come on. I mean, look, we were smarting on him.
Generally pony.
No, but we were smarting on him.
Look,
him and Vertonghen were like 13 out of, I mean, an extraordinary number of games. But I don't know. I mean, I just think it's trials and it's consistency, and I just think some guys just really suffer from lack of play.
If he is having a bit of a bicker with his teammates, is that the start of it unraveling for him?
You mean sort of like a loss of respect, like guys really know who he is, or know what's
or they're getting frustrated that dude, you can't keep getting beaten in the air like that.
Yeah,
there's 2 in 3 games.
A 6'5" guy.
You have one job. You have one job.
Yeah, you do have one job, and you're right.
Well, no, he's got another one. He should be going up and winning corners and putting it in the back of the net, and he's only done that once, and I don't think that was a header. I'm not sure. There's in the Burnley FA Cup.
Oh, yeah. Well, and he had a chance at a goal. Well, anyway. All right, let's not belabor the point. He can certainly be better.
Yeah. And, of course, one of the other things, too, to look at in this match was Lloris returned, which I was really happy to see him back in the lineup. He made a couple of really nice saves, one of them early on, and I think I had tweeted out, that's it, I officially want to have Hugo Lloris's babies. He is so good. And we've talked about and bantered about, and we've even done this down at the pub about, if you sell Lloris for this, and you could go and get that, I don't ever want to sell him. Not in the next 3 years.
Well,
I still think he's at peak, but
it's
we struck a nerve.
No, I think it's just a Guardian article just hunting for readers.
We struck a nerve. I guess I threw that out. Yeah, it was a news story. Thoughts, fellas?
Oh, right. Yeah, you did do that.
And what, there must have been 60, 70 amongst many esteemed in the Twitterverse.
And a wide variety of I can't, this isn't even worth any time of day to, rigorous banter that
6 hours later, it's still going on.
Yeah, and the opinions were varied, either pro or against that concept, which was Valdez, and who was the other one? I can't even remember.
Valdez and Chicharito.
Yeah, Valdez and Chicharito for Lloris.
No.
And, I didn't have an opinion. I just I posed the question to you two, but everybody else jumped in on it. And some people, hell no, like yes. And
I came out with it very simple. Lloris is unsaleable. But to me, what I loved about that question was is it got us discussing about Chicharito, who I think for a price, right? I mean, every player, most players have a price at which you start getting intrigued, and I think the price for him is shockingly low. If you're talking about €10 million for a player that's still young, has Premier League experience, he's banging goals in for Real Madrid, and I think there's a way you can fit him into here. Valdez, I just kind of feel like, hey, look, if he was really that good, they'd find a squad place for him, not just on the training pitch.
Yeah, I mean, is he better than Vorm? Granted, he's played with a huge pedigree for Barcelona. He's won everything in the game. But
how old
I
is
think
he?
That's just horse trading at that point.
Yeah,
we've got Vorm.
But it was a good discussion.
But I think the bigger point is the noise that appears to be made surrounding Lloris, whether it's founded or not, and then the conversation steering well clear of the United moves, is we're back in this position where someone could be making noise because of the Champions League, and it's Modric and Bale all over again, and we know how it ends.
Yeah. You posed that question, and I answered once, and the only thing I said was not in a billion years to an English side. Not in I don't care if what. Look, we sell good players. That's kind of what we do. Real Madrid, PSG, whoever it is that's going to maybe come in for him and grossly overpay for him, just like Real Madrid grossly overpaid for Bale. It may happen. There's a substantial possibility that it may happen, but not in a billion years to an English side. Levy has made that mistake before with Berbatov, and he promised he would never revisit it. I don't see him going back on that promise. I really don't.
I'm not sure any Spurs fan will honestly believe that would never ever happen again, but I think Levy recognises the PR nightmare should it. I think the bigger question needs